Hello, welcome to a very long-awaited stream. And before you ask, yes, um, I have done the heist, and I like it, but at the same time, I don't. This DLC is more memorable because of the cars, but that's not why I'm making the stream. No, 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 no. So, as you all may know, last year I did a very special series of streams that was dedicated to celebrating 20 years of my first ever trip to Gulch. And for a while, I initially didn't want to do a anniversary for the following years, but then it dawned on me I probably should do that because every single trip there was special in its own way. And so you're probably wondering, okay, so where are you going with this? I'm pleased to announce that coming this Sunday will be the Gulch '06 uh, series of streams that are going to be a part of the Rewind series. Um, and you're probably wondering, well, wait, is that one of the reasons why you haven't been doing new episodes lately? That's one of the reasons, but it's also because of the fact that I wanted to make sure that I was ready for more streams because, like, you got to remember, Rewind takes place in the past. Kind of. It's a bit weird in how the story works, but if you don't remember or are new to this channel, Rewind is a series where at the very beginning of it, before the true events take place, my character BC, who you can see driving the truck, but just pretend it's his grandfather, who is inspired by my own grandfather. Um, essentially, um, trying to think here, my brain's not wanting to work. But essentially, um, Rewind the Young Life of BC is a series that was made to kind of represent my childhood in a way where I wanted to retell it in a way where it would reflect me as a person nowadays, not who I was like over 20 years ago when I was that young. So think of it like BC, the character, being me, but with the maturity of my current day self, where I can still be fun loving and funny, but I have the maturity and the honesty of my present day self. That said, um, there were plans for other episodes, and I do plan on making more. It's just that real life got in the way. There were things I had to do, things I had to get done, and all that stuff. Notably, guess who is the proud owner of the Ultimate Edition of GTA 6? Yeah, I pre-ordered that a few weeks ago. Actually, no, not a few weeks, 2 weeks ago. Yeah, it was just before the 4th of July weekend. Which, speaking of which, that was one of the planned episodes, was a 4th of July episode, but I was just really busy that week, especially since I had demos start going on that week, and Monday that week. And then there's the fact that there's also the fact that I was just trying to figure out what I wanted to do for that particular episode. But yeah, so this stream is not an episode of Rewind. Don't worry. Though I am dressed as BC, although this isn't a named outfit, it's just clothing I put together just to kind of look like something I would wear. But anyway, so yeah. But you're probably thinking, so how's this year going to work for Rewind's thing? Because last year I wanted to do 5 days in a row of streaming. I just wasn't able to do it though because things just kept coming up and getting in the way. You know how it is. Thankfully, however, it looks to be a bit different because, as I've said before, I'm currently living at my grandmother's house with my grandmother, and that'll be up until I eventually get an opportunity to move out and, move somewhere else. I've already talked about my reasonings for that and all that other stuff. You can disagree with me if you want about, oh, you're just feeling uncomfortable about this stuff because blah blah blah. I know my own feelings. This ain't my first rodeo. Anyway, let's not dwell on stuff I've ranted about. Let's talk about, what's going to be happening. So, Rewind Dry Gulch '06 is a 5-day series that will. It's essentially what I wanted to try and do last year with the Camp Trip '05, but, I'll actually be able to do it this time. I've gotten things all planned out. I've been planning this thing for like over a month. You know. So just so you're aware, there will be new episodes of Rewind in the lead up to that starting tomorrow. The reason why I wanted to do some episodes tomorrow and Friday and Saturday is because of the fact that, yeah, I know some people might say that leads to burnout, but it kind of doesn't if you know what you're doing, you know? But it's also because of the fact that if you think about it, at least in the terms of the storyline for Rewind, um, camp is only a few days away. So, you know, like, BC has a few days left to really plan things out about, like, when he needs to bring and stuff. Also, if you hear someone else in the background, that's my annoying ass cousin who won't shut the hell up. Yeah, just swinging. Yeah, so just like last year, the first day of the camp trip will be me driving to the church, which we've already shown is that little church kind of near Pacific Bluffs, where the bus will be. And then after that, it'll be a lengthy trip to quote unquote Oklahoma, which it's not actually Oklahoma, it's just Sandy Shores, but you know. Yeah. Anyway, so what I was trying to say is that it'll basically be what I tried to do last year, where it was a stream every day, but I just couldn't get around to it because things were constantly getting in the way. So I just couldn't get around to it, even though I literally planned this stuff in advance. But, you know, life got in the way, and then there's all this other bull crap. You'll note I'm trying to limit my language because I'm trying to be more in character as a younger BC who didn't really cuss at all. Anyway, yeah. So, oh, hello. Someone watching. Hello. Yeah. So that leads me to me driving this. So last year when I did the '05 camp trip thing, I wasn't using this vehicle because I didn't have that much money. That is 13 million. I used to have 16 million, but Then I bought the art studio, did the heist, completed the career challenges for the Agents of Sabotage. So I now have the truck that Jody Marshall uses. Yeah. Also, hey, an Alpha Mino. Nice. Actually, that leads me to something else. So I do have other plans for Rewind as well. So initially, Rewind was just, a daily thing. No, not really, but like a series that kind of represents my childhood life, but done so in a way where it's like, it's a unique mashup of, like, okay, so this is going to be a really weird explanation, but I'll explain it. At the very beginning of the series, BC is an adult. He has just been laid off from his job at a forklift place. Actually, it's a warehouse that he worked at as a forklift operator. And because of the fact that at the time the story took place in the mid-2020s, like, nowadays, obviously job losses and stuff are kind of all the rage nowadays, which I wish they weren't. But he ends up being laid off because of the fact that the warehouse was seeing less and less funding over time, and there was a high likelihood of them shutting down. So they've started to lay off workers to try and save funding, and BC was one of those people who were affected. So he goes to a bar with his friends, rather a nightclub, and he ends up getting kind of wasted, which is kind of a given when you go to a place like that. And so when he wakes up, he's at his house, and he sees a present that a friend left behind because they took him home and left something behind there. And it was a wishing stone, which is a little crystal that you might think, oh, well, it's just some novelty gift. And so, he wishes on it, and his wish is to be a kid again and, be a kid forever. And so the twist to that wish is that he also wishes that he'd be living in the time where he was at his happiest, which was the 2000s. So sure enough, kind of like with my series venture, or not series, but my story venture, the written stories I've done in the past and I'm planning on doing more of. This also takes place in the 2000s, but it's not 2000X. It's not at all connected to Venture, don't worry. Instead, this is just a culmination of 2005 to 2009, all bundled up in it. And so, later that day, BC starts to feel really tired for some reason, even though he's done everything he can to stay as awake as possible. So, of course, he goes to sleep. And so when he wakes up, he sees himself as a kid, which he doesn't know it at first until he gets out of bed and goes downstairs to see his grandfather, who looks younger than he originally did. So then he's a little freaked out. He goes upstairs after eating breakfast, and he goes to the bathroom to brush his teeth. Also, that is very poor man. Anyway, I'm sorry. It's just, I noticed that sign that said Flickers Comics, and I was like, oh, I thought that said something else.
Hey, buddy. Hey.
Anyway. Okay, anyway, I need to get back on track here. So, when he goes to the bathroom, no, not to do his business, is to brush his teeth. He notices in the mirror that he looks way different. He looks, well, like a kid. And then it hits him. The wish that he made when he was adult actually did work, and he's now a lot younger than he used to be. And so he then finds out through asking his grandfather what year it is that it's the 2000s. Like, there is no definitive year, much like how Venture does. Although in this case, it's not because of some weird uh, psychic power that an alien used. Not an alien, extra dimensional being, or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're part of the Sabrina Online fan club for VR chat, then you know what I'm talking about. But I also kind of nerd out about it sometimes, like right now. But in this case, it's just simply because of the fact that the wish was that BC wanted to relive the happiest years of his life. So, that's why it's just the 2000s. Like the mid to late 2000s bundled up into one. So it's just called the 2000s. And so, that leads me to, the summer camp thing last year. Last year was before I made Rewind a thing. Back whenever it was just a one-off thing, just to see if I would like doing this. I did. So I made the series earlier this year. And, well, here we are. We're doing the second year of the camp trip out of 5. And yes, I do plan on doing 3 more of these after this next one. So stay tuned for that. Oh, shut up. But yeah, so you're probably also thinking, well, wait a minute. You chose the Vinewood. Okay, I was about to say I chose the Vinewood Estate mansion last year, but that was before the mansion was a real thing. Anyway, so I wanted to say though, in the past when I've done streams for Rewind, it was at the Vinewood Mansion, but I've since changed it to the Richmond Mansion because it just makes more sense. Like, a lot more sense actually, because it's a lot closer to the church, which kind of goes hand in hand in how the house I lived in as a kid was pretty close to the church, like a mile away, I'm gonna say, if not a little less than a mile, but I don't know for sure. But it's also local to some other stuff. So the date of the stream, there's a McDonald's kind of place over there called Wigwam, which I think I mispronounced as Wigwam at some point, but it's a Wigwam. And so I'll be going there at the very beginning of the stream after doing the routine that I actually did, which was waking up after Papa wakes me up, waking me up. My brain doesn't want to work, I'm sorry. Getting woken up by Papa, which, yes, that's what I actually call him. Then eating a small breakfast downstairs, which usually consisted of toast with cheese on it. Some milk, because gotta be healthy and strong, gotta build those bones. Then brushing my teeth, and I think in the later years putting on deodorant because everybody. I wasn't a teenager though. It was like, I think it was the years when I was 10, 11, and 12 respectively, or it might have been just 11 and 12, because that's pre-pubescent. Pre-pubescent, not pre-pubescent. I don't know what I'm saying. What that person's doing. Just sitting there, just Anyway, yeah. So waking up after Papa wakes me up. I mean, I was already awake when he did that. No, 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 no. He woke me up. So this is what I mean. Like, I'm excited to do this series because it's like, one, I'm actually really excited to do it the way I intended. So that's cool. Second of all, um, I'll be able to do it in a better way because, again, look at all that moolah. I still have like $13 million more money than I know what to do with. But anyway, so yeah. Um, After that, I go upstairs, brush my teeth, get ready to go. It's important to note that in real life, my stuff that I was taking with me to camp, so my bag that had my clothing and stuff in there, like another toothbrush that I had Papa buy for me just to take with me, along with like a small tube of toothpaste to last the days I was gone, all that other stuff. That was already in the bag as well. There was also a sleeping bag and a travel pillow that I took with me. But the good thing is this year, because of the fact that, I'm using one of the mansions, the Richmond, which it really doesn't matter which mansion I would have used because the driveway would have been oriented in the same spot, but
Are you kidding me?
I know, right? That guy just bumped me out of the lane. Also driving like an idiot if you couldn't tell. Anyway, yeah, so because of the mansion, all I had to do is just, act like it was my old house, even though my bedroom would actually be on the second floor upward, not downward. Anyway, yeah, so, alright. So, I'll have to role play that kind of stuff whenever I'm doing the stream for the day of the trip. But these next few days, when I do the newer episodes of Rewind, it'll be partially BC going to daycare, which, yes, I just said that. It's a thing I did, so don't think it's me being weird or trying to be some pretend age regressor. It's just simply that I'm being in character as the character, and the daycare that he went to wasn't like some weird pastel-colored
What can
baby
the best
thing.
mechanic in LS do for you?
It's a place for the kids who were a little bit older.
100% guaranteed.
But anyway, yeah. So it's the last 2 days of the week up until the trip, and then Saturday will be the last preparations for the thing, and then finally Sunday will be the trip. So yeah, that's something to look forward to. I know I'm driving the wrong way. But yeah, so in case you're wondering what I'm talking about with the Richmond Mansion, which you saw me kind of outside of at the beginning of the stream, I'll go ahead and drive there now so that we can see it. And I'm also going to go ahead and place the truck in the driveway so that way it makes a little bit more smooth. Okay, but yeah, so it's that mansion over there. I can't really see it because the minimap can only reach so far. But yeah, so there are more plans for Rewind. Like, I do want to have some friends at some point join along, and I'll have to tell them, hey, this is what this series is, this is what I'm doing. Like, the rules are going to be kind of strict, if you can imagine. Like, I want it to feel appropriate to the series, so no killing others and stuff like that, no, like cars from today, just cars from like the time period that the story is set in. So cars from the 2000s, and you can even use older cars, and a lot of those cars will sometimes be used in like a car show that'll appear every now and again, which I'll get to that momentarily. It'll be in a later stream that I plan on doing in the near future, but not today. But just know that Rewind will evolve into something big as time progresses. But yeah. So as we approach the end of this stream, where I do
We going to that
little
swinger party this weekend?
I think I just have like so many things in my mind about what I want to do for this upcoming mini series. But yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is the stream is approaching its end right here. I just wanted to give that little announcement out just so y'all know, hey, I'm still alive. Don't worry, I'm still doing okay. I'm just kind of busy with stuff. But just know that things have been planned out. Things have been being worked on, and stay tuned because the next 8 days, I can't believe I'm saying that, it's going to be crazy. Like, there's going to be a lot that I'm planning on, so don't worry. It's all gravy, it's all good, it's all cool. But yeah, so first things first, I'm going to still have 11 spots left. Alright. You there. Also, if you have GTA Plus, then you get that car for free. I got GTA Plus because I pre-ordered GTA 6 digitally. Yes, in this case, I don't mind getting it digitally, and yes, I am very pissed off that Sony is going to be discontinuing production of discs in January 2028. Does that mean I'm not going to get the PS6? I'm still thinking about it, but that depends on the price. But with everything costing an arm and a leg, I'm not sure. But yeah, anyway. With that said, so ends the stream. I hope you all have enjoyed this little announcement, or rather big announcement, things coming up. And yeah. So this is what I meant. So last year when I did the series for Rewind, which this was before Rewind was a thing, back when it was the summer camp, I actually had to use one of these houses over here, um, simply because of the fact that it was similar enough to the house I lived in that I was like, yeah, we could work with this. But now with this, it's like, oh yeah, we could do this. But yeah, so that said, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you did, then like, comment, and subscribe. Do all that jazz. You don't have to do it, but it is certainly appreciated. And if you want to tell your friends to know, if you want to let your friends know about my channel, let them know, hey, this guy is cool. I think you should check him out. Then by all means, go ahead. And yeah, with that said, catch y'all later.